Hello everyone and welcome to Java Programming Episode 3. Today's topic is we're going to be covering strings and scanner input. The difficulty for today's video will be easy, and the prerequisites, you must have knowledge of what are variables. So without further ado, let's get going. Alrighty, so let's get started. Today we're going to take a look at our strings and scanner input. So a string is basically a sentence or a bunch of characters that are jumbled together to make part of a variable. So let's go over how do you declare a string. And I made the text a little bit bigger so it's a little bit easier to see when you're watching the video, and so hopefully who are watching on mobile or maybe on a small screen can read what I'm doing here a little bit better. Let me know if this is a little bit of an improvement or if you don't like it having a bigger text here on screen. So to declare a string variable, what you can just do is type out string and then the variable name, I'm just going to call it message, equals, this is tutorial number 3. Right, so here's our string message. This is tutorial number 3 into the variable message, and it's of type string. So let's output this and we can see that this outputs correctly. So I'm just going to type out sout and hit tab. And so we're to have system.out.println, and then I'm going to get rid of the quotation marks in here and just type in our variable. So that way, instead of actually typing out a message here, we're going to use our variable message. So let's run this. You can see in the output we have this is tutorial number 3. So that's one way you can declare strings. Another way you can do so is by doing it like this. So you can say this, and then plus sign is tutorial 3. Now you'll notice I didn't put any spaces here, and you'll see that when we run this, it's going to basically jumble all these messages together and not output anything because I didn't output anything to the console, like a nub message. Run it this time. Now we'll see that these are all jumbled together, and that's because I didn't put any spaces in here. So you have to, if you're going to write out a message like this, you need to put spaces in between the quotes here. So that way all your text here isn't jumbled together like you see down here. So if we rerun this again, you can see now it's spaced out correctly. So it's important to know how to declare strings like this, because what if you were doing something like this? So this is the number. So when you add a string and then put the plus sign and then a number, for instance, in this case, what you're doing is adding this number to the end of the string and making it one big string. Even though this is a number, it gets added to the end of this string and it'll be outputted as a single string down here at the bottom. This is the number 3. So this is important. For instance, if you have another variable, let's say an integer, int my number equals 5, and you want to add the value of my number to the end of your string and then output that back to the user. So you can say this is the number and then 5. So you can see we took the value 5 and put that into an integer variable my number, and then took that my number variable and added it to the end of the string and then outputted the string here. So that's all we're doing here. So this is pretty cool, and this would be interesting for when we go in and do our next little example here, and that's using scanner input to get input from the user and then output that back to the user in the console. So the Java basically uses system output to refer to standard output devices, and in this case that's the console by default, and system in is what I'm going to go over in just a second. Refers to standard input device, and the standard input device is the keyboard itself. So before we start getting input from the user via the keyboard, we have to create what's called a scanner class object to read input from system in. So that probably didn't make any sense at all, but it'll be explained here in just a second. So what we need to do first, before we can get input from the user, is we need to declare a scanner object. To do that, you can do is scanner input equals new scanner system.in. So what we're doing is we're creating a scanner object and we're giving it the name input. Let's see here, cannot find class scanner. So we need to import java.util.scanner. There we go. So we also need to import this java.utility.scanner. Basically, we're referring to the scanner package like we have here, string tutorial, and that has the class scanner in it, which we're using down here. So making a new scanner object, which is this right here, this new scanner object system in, and we're assigning that to the variable input, which is a type scanner. So we're going to use this input variable to get input from the user. So let's do this. Let's have a line that says, please enter your favorite number, right? And then we're going to say input dot next int. This is going to be equal to int favorite number equals. So what we're doing is we're saying system.out.println, please enter your favorite number. So that's going to be outputted to the user. And then whatever the user enters next, which is defined here, input.nextInt, is going to be assigned to the variable favorite number. And then what we're going to do is say system.out your favorite number is plus favorite number. Alright, so let's run this. Let's please enter your favorite number. You can see I click down here and it gives me the option to type in a number. So I'm going to hit, let's put 2. I'm going to hit enter, and then it outputs back to me, your favorite number is 2. So you can see we took the input, which was the next int, which is I entered as 2, assign that to favorite number, and then output that favorite number right back to the user. So this is how you get input from the user via the scanner object that we created up here. So let's take this into a little bit more in depth. We're going to go into a little example here that I have pulled up next to the book next to me here. So I'm going to get rid of all this. This example is called compute change. So it starts off with scanner input equals scanner system in, and then we're going to ask the user to enter in a double, and this is going to be a dollar amount. So we're going to say sout enter an amount in double format, for example 12.05. And then on the next line here we're going to say double amount equals input dot next double. So this is going to do basically the same thing we just did, except it's going to assign a double variable to the variable amount that is a type double. Okay, so moving on from that, we'll have int remaining amount equals int amount times 100. So let's see here. So let's just run this real quick, and then we'll output sout remaining amount, say plus remaining amount. Oops. Okay. So this is the enter amount in double format, for example 12.05, so I'm going to enter 1375. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're having the user enter a double amount, and I entered 13.75, and then we're taking that amount, multiplying it by 100, typecasting it to an integer. So what that means is that we're taking this double variable, multiplying by 100, and then changing it to an integer value, and then assigning that value to the integer variable remaining amount, and then I just outputted that remaining amount down here. So that's all we're doing so far. So let's keep going. Let's say find the number of $1. So let's do int dollars equals remaining amount divided by 100. Oops. 100 remaining amount equals remaining amount %, 100. And let's re-output remaining amount. So I'm going to say s out remaining amount is + remaining amount. Okay, so let's run this. Enter a double, so I'm going to say 13.75 again. Okay. So what we've done is, again, we've asked the user for a double input. We have the remaining amount, which we typecasted to an integer, and then we say int dollars equals remaining amount divided by 100. So what we're doing there is we took our number, multiply it by 100, so then we would have 1375, and then got rid of the basically 13. So if we outputted dollars, we would get 13. So let's do that real quick. S out number of dollars is + dollars, and hit run. So I'm going to enter a different number this time. I'm going to say 6.83 equals. So we have the remaining amount is 83, so this is the amount of cents that we have in our amount, and the number of dollars is 6. So if we wanted to keep continuing this, we can. We just do one more here real quick. Let's do the number of nickels here. So let's say int nickels equals remaining amount divided by 5. Remaining amount equals remaining amount 5. So this % is the operator of remainder, and I think I went over this in the previous video. If not, again, it's the remainder. So when you're doing like long division and you get a remainder, this is what this is doing. It's basically operator remainder for 5 here. Let's hit run. It's probably a bad explanation of that, but see what I mean in just a second. And I forgot to output the number of nickels. S out number of nickels plus nickels. Run. And let's enter 5.84 equals. So you see our remaining amount is 84, and number of dollars is 5, and the number of nickels in this is 16. So that's kind of an example here. I've shown you how to read scanner input from the user, and then we've done a little bit of work with the variables, and we outputted those variables as strings as well. So I hope you guys learned something new. This is a little bit unfamiliar territory for me, just working with the scanner input because it's been a while since I've done this. But next time we're going to work with something called booleans and if statements. Booleans are basically values that are either true or false, and then depending on whether a boolean value is true or false, we'll be executing what's called an if statement that says if this is true or if this is false, do something, otherwise do something else. So we're going to take a look at that next time. I hope you enjoyed or learned something from this video, and I will see you all next time.